Senator Elizabeth Warren just did something that should terrify every politician who thinks they can sell a scam to the American people. She brought receipts. President Trump launched TrumpRx, a website that he claims has reduced drug prices by as much as 600%.
The president pitched his TrumpRx website as the answer for Americans who are worried about healthcare costs. He claims that TrumpRx has reduced prices by as much as 600%.
600%. That is not a discount. That is math that does not exist. Warren decided to do some real math. She picked a drug, Protonix, a heartburn medication. A 30-day supply on TrumpRx costs $200. The generic version, pantoprazole, costs $16 at Costco. $16. $200 on TrumpRx. $16 at Costco.
The drug is $16 at Costco. TrumpRx charges $200 for Protonix, and Costco charges $16.
She picked another drug, Tikosyn, a treatment for heart arrhythmia. $336 on TrumpRx. The generic version costs $12 at Cost Plus Drugs. $336 versus $12.
Tikosyn is a treatment for heart arrhythmia. It costs $336 on TrumpRx, or you can get the generic at Cost Plus Drugs for $12.
Warren asked Secretary Kennedy if patients are better off paying $336 on TrumpRx or $12 at Cost Plus Drugs. Kennedy said she was comparing apples to oranges, brand versus generic. Warren said the drugs are chemically identical. Kennedy said doctors prescribe the brand. Warren said that is a big pharma talking point to fool people into buying more expensive drugs.
So here's the thing. We know about brand names versus generic. It's a big pharma talking point in order to fool people into buying a more expensive drug.
Then Warren dropped the hammer. In exchange for these scam discounts, President Trump has exempted drug companies from his 100% tariffs. Big Pharma makes billions in tariff relief by listing their drugs on TrumpRx, and they do not even lower the costs on many of them. She asked Kennedy if he signed off on these sweetheart deals. He said he did not personally negotiate them. His team did.
You negotiated these deals. Will you make those deals available to us so we can see them?
I didn't personally negotiate them.
All right. Did your team negotiate these deals?
Yes.
Warren asked for the deals to be made public. Kennedy said he would, except for proprietary information and trade secrets. Warren said the American public deserves better. The millions of people using TrumpRx disagree, Kennedy said. Warren said 1 out of 4 TrumpRx customers pays more than they would at Costco. That is not a deal. Let's watch.
Thank you, Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So after President Trump and the Republicans slashed health care for millions of families, the president pitched his TrumpRx website as the answer for Americans who are worried about health care costs. He claims that TrumpRx has reduced prices by as much as 600%. 600%, which I think means companies should be paying you to take their drugs. But let's do some real math here. Take one drug, Protonix, a 30-day supply of this heartburn medication, costs $200 on TrumpRx, but there is an identical generic version of this pill called pantoprazole. Secretary Kennedy, do you know how much it costs for a 30-day supply of that drug at Costco?
But I would say this, Senator.
Do you know what it costs?
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's 2 ways of calculating percentage. If you have a $600 drug and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
But you know I only have 5 minutes. Do you know what the drug costs at Costco?
I do not.
The drug is $16 at Costco. TrumpRx charges $200 for Protonix, and Costco charges $16. Let's do another one. Tikosyn is a treatment for heart arrhythmia. It costs $336 on TrumpRx, or you can get the generic cost plus drugs for $12. So you tell me, Mr. Secretary, are patients better off paying $336 on TrumpRx or $12 at cost plus drugs?
You're comparing apples to oranges because you're comparing the brand drug to the generic drug.
Yeah, to the exact same drug.
Well, people should be buying the generic, and we will be directing them to generic.
To the exact same drug.
We'll be directing them to the generic.
So tell me, Mr. Secretary, you think people ought to be paying $336 instead of $12?
Well, a lot of doctors prescribe the brand, so we're giving them 600% reductions on the brand. We will be directing them to the generic whenever it's available.
So here's the thing. We know about brand names versus generic. It's a big pharma talking point in order to fool people into buying a more expensive drug. The generic is chemically the same. And here's the thing. If you're buying a drug on TrumpRx, there is a more than 1 in 4 chance that Trump's discount is actually a price hike. And for an anti-big pharma guy, you sure don't seem worried about steering patients to more expensive drugs that are going to pad big pharma's profits. But there's more in this deal. In exchange for these scam discounts, President Trump has exempted these drug companies from his 100% tariffs. So think about that. Big pharma makes billions of dollars in tariff relief by listing their drugs on TrumpRx, and then they don't even lower the costs on many of these drugs. That is a great deal for big pharma. So, Secretary Kennedy, here's my question. Did you sign off on these sweetheart deals for big pharma, or was this all President Trump's idea?
The tariff relief is only applicable if the company has agreed to produce the drug in America. They have 1 year to do so.
Well,
and then they don't get the tariff relief, and then it is going to bankrupt them.
So you're the one who negotiated these?
Did I negotiate the deal?
You negotiated these deals. Will you make those deals available to us so we can see them?
I didn't personally negotiate them.
All right. Did your team negotiate these deals?
Yes.
Will you make those deals available to us so we can see them? A little transparency?
We will make I've already said this. I'm happy to make the deals available, except for proprietary information and trade secrets, which, when you pass the IRA...
I will hold you to that, Mr. Secretary, because if these deals with Big Pharma are so great for Americans, then we should be able to see what promises have been made.
You have the power to make this deal yourself. Why don't you do that? Why did you? We did this because you refused to do it.
I think what we've got is Trump.
You have a lot more power to negotiate than we do.
Stakes.
We got the lowest prices in history.
By healthcare costs, and you and Donald Trump are actually making the problem worse. The American public deserves better.
The millions of people who are using TrumpRx disagree with you. I said the millions of people who are using TrumpRx disagree with you.
They got a better than 1 out of 4 chance of paying more at TrumpRx than they would if they went to Costco. That's not much of a deal for the American people.
Not on branded drugs.
Oh, so your answer is Americans should just not take prescription drugs?
We are directing people. We will be directing people to the generics, the cheapest available. But a lot of doctors prescribe the brands, and we're giving them massive reductions in the brands.
So those mass discounts
massive.
Are that people can pay
600%.
600%. They can pay hundreds of dollars
or more
on TrumpRx, or they can get it for $12.
This is the second instance of the Secretary denying the public's right to know. That's all that the members on this committee have asked for.
This hearing is a masterclass in how to use facts and math to expose a scam dressed up as a solution. Senator Elizabeth Warren came prepared with specific drugs, specific prices, and specific comparisons. She did not need to speculate. She did not need to hypothesize. She brought the numbers. And the numbers are devastating. TrumpRx is supposed to lower drug prices, The president claims it has reduced prices by as much as 600%. Warren pointed out that 600% is not a discount. It is nonsense. But she did not stop there. She did the math. Protonix, $200 on TrumpRx, $16 at Costco. That is not a discount. That is a markup. That is a scam. Kennedy's defense was that Warren was comparing brand to generic. Warren pointed out that the generic is chemically identical. The only difference is the price. Kennedy said doctors prescribe the brand. Warren said that is a big pharma talking point to fool people into buying more expensive drugs. She was right. Then Warren picked another drug, Tikosyn, $336 on TrumpRx, $12 at Cost Plus Drugs. That is not a 600% discount. That is a 2,700% markup. Kennedy said they will direct people to generics. Warren asked why TrumpRx is listing the brand at all. Why is the government steering patients to more expensive drugs? Kennedy did not answer. Because the answer is money. Big Pharma makes more money on brands. TrumpRx is not a discount program. It is a marketing program. Then Warren dropped the hammer. In exchange for listing their drugs on TrumpRx, drug companies get exempted from Trump's 100% tariffs. That is billions of dollars in tariff relief. The companies do not have to lower their prices, they just have to list them. TrumpRx is not a deal for patients. It is a deal for Big Pharma. Warren asked Kennedy if he signed off on these sweetheart deals. He said he did not personally negotiate them. His team did. Warren asked for the deals to be made public. Kennedy said he would, except for proprietary information and trade secrets. That is a dodge. The public cannot evaluate whether the deals are good if they cannot see them. Warren said she would hold him to that. The numbers tell the story. $200 versus $16. $336 versus $12. 1 out of 4 TrumpRx customers pays more than they would at Costco. That is not a discount program. That is a tax on people who do not know better. That is a transfer of wealth from patients to drug companies. That is the opposite of what Trump promised. Kennedy's performance was defensive. He kept saying they will direct people to generics. But the question is, why TrumpRx exists at all? Why is the government in the business of listing brand-name drugs at inflated prices? Why are drug companies getting tariff relief for listing drugs that patients should not buy? Why will the administration not release the deals? Warren did not get answers to those questions. But she did something important. She showed that TrumpRx is not a solution. It is a scam. And she showed that the administration cannot defend it. Not with facts, not with math, not with anything except platitudes and deflections. The underlying issue is not about Protonix or Tikosyn. It is about trust. The president promised to lower drug prices. Instead, he created a website that charges patients more than Costco. He promised to fight Big Pharma. Instead, he gave them billions in tariff relief. He promised transparency. Instead, his administration hides the deals. Warren is right. The American public deserves better. They deserve a healthcare system that actually lowers costs, not one that pretends to while lining the pockets of drug companies.